Good afternoon, guys. This is the boat guy. Today I'm working on the Seaward 25, which you can see on the trailer. I got this boat from an insurance auction. She had a really bad day. And you'll see various things over the course of this repair on the Seaward 25. It's going to be more fiberglass work than I've done in a number of years, which I usually try to avoid, but uh, I kind of have a desire for this particular boat, see if she's any good. Um, it held up well to what I imagine was a horrible trauma. Uh, the boat never sunk. Um, the keel bolts, surprisingly, are still solid. The keel shows signs of long-term leaking that didn't have anything to do with the accident that did so much damage to her. I suspect that maybe the trailering or just age, who knows, got this keel the leaking. I am going to fiberglass this keel onto the hull permanently, and it's never going to leak again. And I also think that it'll be considerably stronger. My other option would be to drop it and recaulk it. The caulking is kind of weird on this one, I gotta tell you. It looks like they use gel coat or something solid. It's not rubber between the keel and the hull. There's something solid there, and there's a crack, a fine crack, but there's a crack where the keel joins the hull. Probably the first 3 feet forward from the front of the keel down along the edge, and the last foot in the rear, where I believe she's been seeping water. I can see signs that they were fighting water on the interior. Boat has no bilge, and they were building up the storage under the settees to keep stuff out of the water, because I suspect she was a leaker for them for a while. They were still using the boat. They didn't know what to do. There's a variety of fixes for this, but because this boat has so much keel damage, I'm going to be going the full route and glassing this keel right onto the hull. It's going to be a one-piece unit, somewhat like an Erickson or other internally ballasted boats I've owned in the past. I kind of like that method better than just hanging the keel off the bottom of the boat. Seems like it's always problems. Again, I'm real happy with the fact that the boat survived so much trauma. She took a licking and kept on ticking, as they like to say. But all of that is irrelevant to what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you this today specifically because it may be a problem for other people out there. I believe this boat had way too much weight on the keel while it was being trailered. And there's a couple of reasons for this. But one of them is the angle brackets that hold the main bunks up on each side of the hull on this trailer are failing. And I just found this out this morning because I'm lifting this boat higher off of the 2x6 that runs down the center, so I have more access to work. It's really got me looking at this trailer. In general, the trailer is pretty solid, but these bunk systems are failing. They may be failing for your boat too. So I'm going to pan down here and show you this piece of angle. Coming down here. Now that's the piece of angle. Now that's bent up almost 90 degrees where it's supposed to be flat by that hole, and the steel is actually fractured. If you look at that steel, it's been rusting and corroding for a long time. That fracture has been there for a while. Also, when it moved like that, it put a lot of pressure on the bolts that were holding that to the bunk and ripped those free too, which I had noticed previously, but thought that the bunks were just rotting. But the bunks are actually pretty solid. It's the steel that's giving you trouble. Now that piece of steel went right on the top of that post. That post goes up to the hull. I'll pan over to the other side. Goes up to the hull and sits there like that and supports all the way to the boat. Now I'm going to get closer to that one. What you're going to see, hopefully, if my photography is up to par here, is that this one's doing the same thing. This one forward, that one's solid. Now you go to this other side. I'm going to crawl out from under the boat. Pardon the movement. I don't know how to turn these things off and on and paste it all together. You're just going to have to live with it. But there you're looking at what amounts to that bracket folding forward, ripping the screws out. So those need to be checked. And right here, moving forward there, I cut away part of the 2x6, but that center bracket had way too much weight on it. That 2x6 was actually crushed. Now I've got some of the weight off of it now through jacks and various means. But that was actually crushed. This boat was carrying way too much on her keel, which may have been part of the problem for the leakage issues. I know other people are having leakage issues on this boat. I'll pan up there. You can maybe see the little crack. That's the problem. You see the white line between the two fiberglasses where I've sanded all the way down to the gel coat. That's what they use to seal this boat together. It's hard. It is not rubber at all. There's no give to it at all. A little curious about that. It's definitely been causing problems, serious issues on this boat for a while. I'll pan down here. I've got the gel coat all the way off the keel. There's your ballast. It's some form of epoxylated iron dust or iron fragments. As you can see, this one took a hell of a beating. That's not all the damage she took, but ripped the wing completely off. I've got it ground up to there. I might grind back further. I'm going to glass this whole thing. It's going to all be one piece. But anyway, the issues are, do you have too much weight on your keel? And the second issue is, are your bunks in danger and jeopardy? If you look at this one, hopefully you can see it there. You can see that that steel is actually fractured again. Moving forward and fractured. Not good. Not good at all. Definitely needs to be addressed. I'm going to address it by going down to my local steel dealer and buying a piece of channel to remake those brackets. They are presently 1/8. They will now be 1/4 when I'm done. Just one of the many things you find when you work on these boats after they're, you know, multiple years old. I don't know, this one's 25 years old, something like that. You start seeing failures. This failure is pretty serious. I would definitely check your trailer and make sure this is not going on with yours. I'll be posting more on the 25 as things go along.